What's up, guys? Bachata Rockstar here, and rocking the hoodie today because it's fucking cold. Hope you guys are warm wherever you are. Hope you guys had a happy Thanksgiving. Delicious. I need some liquids because we're going to be talking a ton. There's been a ton of cards revealed. Every time I try to take a couple days off, nope. They just reveal the cards like crazy. So here we go. Let's get right into it. Shaman card, Unstable Evolution. Transform a friendly minion to one that costs one more, repeatable this turn. So basically what it means is you cast this spell, it goes back in your hand, and you cast it again. Now it's not like Evolve where it hits the whole board, obviously it's hitting only one minion at a time. So if you had a board of like 4 minions, if you wanted to evolve them all, it would cost you 4 mana and you'd have to cast. So, it's a little bit more flexible evolution, but it's a little bit more expensive evolve spell. Is it any good? Yeah, I think it is good. I think it'll fit into Evolve Shaman. It really requires you to have a board. So, as a shaman, if you lose the board, you are fucked. So, in a weird way, I think that would actually prompt you to play a few more Death Rattle minions. And then that way, if they die, you still get something back, kind of thing. Or minions that spawn other minions. And then that's good, because then you can evolve those minions. So, all of a sudden, Primal Talismans actually seems okay. You know? Play that card, make all your minions sticky. Then if they die, you can evolve the totems that come behind them. I don't know. You're going to have to really, really aggressively fight for board. And this is going to help you keep a board, but it's not going to help you make a board. And so that's kind of my issue is, are you going to be able to make your board big enough to have Unstable Evolution work? So, Evolve Shaman is definitely a thing. It's a pretty good deck. I wouldn't call it tier 1 by any means, but it's a solid tier 2. And this will help that deck. Not much to say. I mean, it's kind of neat that you could evolve a totem up to a 10-drop on turn 10 if you really wanted to, but it's kind of heal on demand, kinda, sorta, maybe. But good card. It'll see play. 7 out of 10. Next up we got the Rogue Secret, the final Rogue Secret, Evasion. Secret. After your hero takes damage, become immune this turn. Neat. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Don't we have a spell like this already? Called Ice Block. No. That's a Mage Secret. This is a Rogue Secret, so totally different. It actually is totally different. So here's the thing. 1, you take the damage already. Unlike Ice Block where it just stops. 2, it happens as soon as you take the damage. So you could play this on, I don't know, turn 2, and the guy swings in with a 1/1, and this would set it off. And so you kind of have to wait to play this, and then I feel like it kind of gives itself away. It doesn't really have the surprise factor, because everybody knows, oh, it's like turn 6 or 7, and you're about to die, and then you play a secret. They'll be like, oh, it's probably evasion. But the good news is, if you play evasion, your opponent is going to say, okay, he's played evasion, so I'm just going to swing in with my biggest frickin' dude and at least hit him in the face for like 8. So even though he's going to be immune, I'll have done a lot of damage to him. Or even better, if he's at 8 or less and you have an 8/8, bam, hit him in the face, he's just fucking dead, it doesn't matter. So who cares if you're immune with 0 hit points. Problem is though, if you put up Sudden Betrayal, that's a card that wants you to play attack with a minion that is really big, because then that minion is going to slam into other minions right next to it. So even though this secret seems easy to play around in theory, if played with all the secrets, it's actually really good. So then your opponent says, okay, screw it. I know he's got evasion. I'm not even gonna, I'm gonna attack with my 1/1. And then that 1/1 gets betrayed and swings into something else. Right? No big deal. But then if you attack with the 1/1 and it turns out it's evasion, now all that damage that he would have done to your face, no longer happening. So the secrets actually kind of work off each other. Then your opponent could even say, well, screw it, I'm not going to try to set off evasion. Right? I'm just going to attack minions. Well, okay, I'll kill his minion. Boom. Cheat death. You get that minion back in your hand. So assuming you have all the secrets, and you're going to be forced to play all the secrets if you're going to play the secrets at all, this card can work. It can work. The problem is, though, I feel like eventually people are going to figure out how to play around them, sort of based on when the secrets were played, and there's not enough secrets to sort of make you have to figure out all the permutations, which is really the strength of secrets, is you don't know what they are, so now you have to play around everything. This card doesn't really force you to play around everything. So, is it good? I think it's pretty good. Is it strong enough to see play? Depends on the deck. If there's some sort of slower, maybe not like aggro tempo rogue, which has been taking over the meta recently, but some sort of slower, secret, control-y, kind of get to the later game style of rogue deck, it might work. I don't know. It's so out of left field because nobody was even expecting these to come in. It's probably going to take a while for deck builders to actually make something good out of this card. But all in all, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I think it will eventually see play. It may not be soon, but I think in a vacuum, I like this card. Coming up next, Priest Spell, Twilight's Call, 3 mana. Summon 1/1 copies of 2 friendly Death Rattle minions that died this game. Neat! Neat! That's awesome. So, 1, this does work in the quest, because all you gotta do is summon them. So this is 2 quest ticks. That's kind of nice. 2, they're Death Rattle minions. So in all likelihood, you're getting back a really nice effect. Getting back a 1/1 copy of a Death Rattle minion is actually pretty strong because a good portion of their value comes in the Death Rattle. You get back a Loot Hoarder. Yay, I draw another card. You get back a Crystalline Oracle. Yay, I get another card. You get back a Tortolan Shell Razor. Yay, I get +1/+1 on something else. And since I have another Death Rattle minion, it's probably going to hit that. And these are all cheapo, basic Death Rattle minions. We're not even talking about like the stronger, bigger, buffer Death Rattle minions. Obsidian Statue! Excuse me if that came out a little loud. Just saying. So there's a lot of good stuff that this card will pull back. And as the game goes on, it actually gets more and more strong, weirdly enough. Like, playing this on turn 3 isn't too bad if you had a 1-drop die and a 2-drop Death Rattle die, because then you'll get those cards back, and like I said, tick tick, that much closer to the quest. But oftentimes those early cards are just like cycle cards or card regeneration cards, where you play a card and then you get a card back, either by drawing it through your deck or by drawing it, taking it from your opponent's deck. Or, like I said, you get, Obsidian Statues and just bigger and bigger, more powerful Death Rattle minions. This card is going to be good throughout the game. And it can fit even in a deck that's not a quest deck. Like, it's still pretty good. It's pretty good. Now, let's face it. 2 1/1s for 3 mana, not that good in general. But like I said, the value, the 2 1/1s should cost about 1 mana, maybe arguably 2 mana, depending upon the class. So 3 mana obviously is overcosted, but they're Death Rattle minions. And so the mana cost that you lose is being made up by the fact that you're getting Death Rattle minions back. I like the card. I think it's neat. Is it strong enough to see play in every deck? Probably not. But I think there is a sort of big Death Rattle priesty deck that will want to play this card. And I think it'll be good. 7 out of 10. Up next is a warrior card, Reckless Fury. 3 mana, spend all your armor, deal that much damage to all minions. Wow. Okay, well this is the first effect that I've seen that ever actually makes you lose your armor, as in using armor as a resource. So that's kind of neat. I like the idea that you're storing up armor and then actually utilizing it as a weapon. Much like a shield slam effect, but for everything. And in that case, you sort of need armor. So in a weird way, playing shield slam and reckless fury kind of don't really work together, because then this is going to lose all your armor and then your shield slam becomes ineffective. But in order to make your shield slam effective, you don't want to play reckless flurry. Nah. I don't know. It's a weird card because most of the time you're just trying to store armor up, and in this case you're trying to just get just enough armor to then smoosh. I feel like losing all your armor is like a pretty darn big drawback, man. You know, there's always that game where you get down to like 8 health, and then you just gain a bunch of armor to get yourself back up to 20 or 30 and have built a board again, and then you're sitting on Reckless Flurry like, I don't want to play this. I don't want to lose all my armor and my board and put myself down to 8 HP. You know, I feel like these Control Warrior decks, that's kind of what they're doing, is just survive to then flip the board, run their opponent out of resources, gain a bunch of armor, and then that's how you win the game. And this sort of is counterintuitive to that. And I also feel like Warrior has a lot of good wide board removal things. I mean, there's so many Whirlwind effects. There is Sleep with the Fishes. There's already Brawl. I don't know if this card is even necessary. It's strange because, like, I've read reviews on this card and people are like, I think this card is spectacular, and I'm just like, I think it's going to be a dead card so many times in your hand. You have to really, really build a deck around this. And granted, that has been a theme up until this point, that, hey, just gotta build the deck, gotta build the deck, gotta build the deck. And I'm fine with that, but I don't think the deck that would build this is any good. So, 4 out of 10. I think it is relatively powerful. I just don't think it's very useful. Leyline Manipulator. 4 mana, 4/5 elemental mage minion. Battle cry. If you're holding any cards that didn't start in your deck, reduce their cost by 2. Wow. That is super strong. 1, it's a 4 mana 4/5. Stat-wise, awesome. You love that. Yeti stats, already good. And it's a mage card, so it should be better than a Yeti. And it's way better than a Yeti. In fact, since it only costs 4 mana, if you hit this cost reduction tick on 2 cards, it is literally paid for itself. And notice, it says any cards that didn't start in your deck reduce their cost by 2. It doesn't say spells. Now, obviously, most of the cards that you're going to generate as a mage are spells, but there's a little card called Simulacrum, which allows you to copy minions. So, best case scenario, woo, and this might not be the best case. There might actually be better cases. I just haven't thought of them yet. You Simulacrum, 2 Sorceress Apprentice, then you play both of them. Then you play Molten Reflection for 2. And then you play Molten Reflection for 1. Then you play Archmage Antonidas using all your mana. But since you have 4 Sorcerer's Apprentices on board now, you play any spell that costs 4 or less, you get a Fireball in your hand, and you go Infinite Fireball without even using the quest. Rock and roll, Hoji Cow. Wow, that blows my mind. But just sheer value, this card is insane, right? We've already got Kabbalist Tome. We've already now added the Ruby Spellstone, which is basically a Kabbalist Tome. Imagine having 6 cards in your hand and 6 spells in your hand, and then Leyline Manipulator, and boom. Now, OTK, just burn your opponent out with a bunch of spells. OTK is possible with this card. This card is ridiculous. ridiculous. And then even if it doesn't hit anything, it's still a 4 out of 4/5, which is still pretty good. Insane card. Insane card. I mean, this might even replace Water Elemental on the 4 slot, for God's sakes. Especially if you have Frostless Chain and you're just going to get Water Elementals later. And it's an Elemental, so it works an Elemental Mage. Fucking A. Fucking A. So, think about it this way. The Ruby Spellstone is activated by Elementals. This is an Elemental. But then this also reduces the cost of spells in your hand, of spells that didn't start in your hand, by 2. So, either way you play these cards, it's good. You can either wait to then reduce the cost with this card, or you can play this card to activate the Spellstone. Insane. 10 out of 10. Great card. It will go into almost every single mage deck. I mean, it's just good. It's just good. It's good on its own. High floor, high ceiling. Great card. Coming up next, we've got Elven Minstrel. 4 mana, 3/2 rogue card with combo that says draw 2 minions from your deck. Wow. Okay, so early you could say, hey, run a super heavy spell-based deck and just some Elven Minstrels and, Malagos. And then you always draw your Malagos. Combo that with the Curator, and you are guaranteed to get Malagos pretty darn early. Like, you'll always have them on 9. Something there. Just sheer value card. Draw a couple more Death Rattle cards. Okay. Is it hard to combo? Yeah, but there's, counterfeit coins and backstabs and preps, and so you're going to need cheap cards to activate this. But a 4 mana 3/2 is not good, but it's not terrible. And the idea is that you're drawing 2 cards, and so this is just a cycle card. And specifically drawing minions, so that's kind of nice if you want to make sure you always draw into spells. Maybe it's good with Gadgetzan Auctioneer. Like, you can play this to draw your Gadgetzan, and then you're always going to, not always, but more likely to be drawing spells behind that to keep the Miracle Cycle train going. So maybe this fits in a Miracle Rogue deck. It's just a good card. It's just a tempo loss on 4. But if played in the late game, it doesn't really matter, because then you still have 5 to 6 mana to work with, or, whatever, how much mana, on top of your combo. Yeah, I like it. I think it's a good card. Is it going to fit in every deck? Not necessarily. It's too slow for Tempo Rogue. So it's definitely going to be more of a longer game Miracle style Rogue, which we haven't really seen yet. So, if that deck becomes a thing, this will be a thing. It's just good value, right? It's good value. Being able to draw 2 cards, is just really powerful. This is a strong play. I just don't see it in the current iteration of Rogue and Tempo Rogue. It's not going to be good. Like, Aggro Tempo Rogue is not going to play this card. But some sort of longer, more value-oriented Rogue will play this card. So, I'm going to give it a 7, because I think it will see play, but it's just not going to see play in decks that are currently in this meta in terms of rogues. But I think it will create a couple of different other little more mid-range to control-based decks. Coming up next, we got a Warlock card, Possessed Lackey, 5 mana 2/2 Death Rattle, recruit a demon. So, obvious parallels would be to Skelemancer, which is another 5 mana 2/2, which summons an 8/8. However, the caveat with Skelemancer is it has to die on your opponent's turn. So he does get a chance to play around the 8/8. He does get a chance to silence it. This, on the other hand, theoretically, you could kill in 1 turn, and then it would recruit a demon. Hey, guess what? 10 mana, you play this, and then you Bane of Doom it, and then it dies, recruits a demon, and then you also get a random demon. Hey, combos! I think this will actually play very well in Eat Your Own Stuff Warlock. with carnivorous cubes and ravenous pterodaxes and stuff like that. Basically, they need eggs, and this is an egg. Right? To me, an egg is anything that you play that is relatively low statted and has relatively low impact, but then dies and creates something that does have big impact. Obviously, the Devilsaur egg is an egg, Runic egg is an egg, but Skelemancer arguably is an egg. Tyrian Fordring arguably is an egg. So that's sort of my definition of what an egg is, and this is absolutely an egg. And so this is something that you kind of want to be killed. And what you can do is play very big demons in your deck and not play early game demons. And then when this dies, you're gonna get big demons. All of a sudden, Void Lord is looking okay now, because there's so many ways to get that motherfucker out of your hand for not 9 mana. And in this case, get him out of your deck. So if Void Lord was in your deck, you could recruit it with this. If Void Lord was in your hand, you could play Cruel to get him out. You could play a card yet unrevealed. It's the Skull of Minari. You probably know about it already. That you could also play. I already revealed Skull of Minari. Never mind. But yeah. Good card. Neat. Skelemancer doesn't see a lot of play, but I think it's just because people underutilize it and they don't know how to play it. It's been very effective in my Meat and Eggs Paladin deck, which I love, which is just basically a bunch of eggs and a bunch of taunters and a bunch of buffs, and make huge boards that can't be killed very well or very efficiently, and then your opponent doesn't know what to do with it. And if they draw slightly bad at all, you win. But your opponent has to draw perfect to beat that deck. And this is the same sort of idea, where you're killing your own stuff, maybe you taunt this up, you force your opponent to swing into it, and it's just so sticky. Things don't die. They always keep bringing other stuff. And, yeah, so there you go. I think it's a neat card. I think it's a good card. I think it will see play. It's just slow. So is it going in Zoo? No. But is it going in Control Warlock? Probably. Giving it a 6.5 out of 10. Coming up next, we've got the Druid legendary Ixlid the Fungal Lord. 5 mana, 2/4. After you play a minion, summon a copy of it. Gross. That's just gross. I mean, he's creating a fungus copy of stuff. I know it's a fungus Malagos, but still. It's nasty. So, good things. Obviously, it's summoning copies of minions. That's awesome. Right? You have any big charged minions, it's going to be great. If you have the quest, the Jungle Giants quest, right, and you get to play a bunch of big shit for 0 mana, you play this dude, you rattle off a bunch of huge fucking dudes, and you fill your board with 2 Malagoses, 2 Yashirajas, and I don't know, other big dude. 2 Lich Kings. I mean, so that's dream scenario, obviously. But I think slotting this into a Jungle Giants deck is fine. Now, is Jungle Giants any good? Not right now. Maybe this makes it better. But even if you just play this and copy one relatively solid minion behind that, it's pretty good. It's not something that you can just play on 5, though, because it's going to die, and it's got a target that's on its back. It has taunt, essentially. There's no fucking way your opponent leaves this up, because the value you're going to get out of it is insane. So you're just going to have to figure out a way to play this to where you get some value out of it. But that should not be that hard. It's Druid. You can ramp. It's got big stuff. Big Druid just got another freaking good card. And here it is. Ixlid Fungalord. Thumbs up, man. 8 out of 10. You know, aside from the weak stat line, I mean, this is the only thing that makes this card bad. This card is a 2/6. I mean, it'd be phenomenal. But right now, it's pretty good. So, 8 out of 10. Furlbog Mossbinder, 5 mana neutral, 1/1, Battlecry, transform a friendly minion into a 6/6 elemental. Not 100% sure if I've done this card or not. I might have. But I have thoughts on it. I actually like this card, even though I think it's probably bad and it's going to be relatively difficult to play. Transforming a friendly minion into a 6/6 elemental. Now, obviously, as the game goes on, it's going to be easier and easier to have something on the board, typically. And turning something into a 6/6 is basically evolving it. I would assume the elemental costs 6. Don't quote me on that. If it does, it makes a very good evolved target. This and Unstable Evolution is spectacular, right? So let's imagine you have a totem, just a totem, and on turn 6 you play this dude. You turn your totem to a 6/6, then you play Unstable Evolution on this guy, and you get a 6-drop with a 6/6 elemental. That's really good, and that's relatively easy to do. This is a fantastic evolved target. Hand buff Paladin might actually like this, right? You buff it once or twice, you get a 3/3 and a 6/6. But it actually does fit into other decks too. Decks that are a little more board focused, a little more minion based. You can trade in, make a nice value trade, then turn your dude into a 6/6, effectively healing him and or buffing him. I think this card is actually a lot better than people think. Now, obvious drawbacks. You need to have a minion on the board. People have said that this is worse than the Big Time Racketeer, 6 mana 1/1 that just summons a 6/6. I don't think so. I think being able to transform a friendly minion, like I said, effectively buffing it and or healing it, right? So let's just say, for the sake of argument, you had, I don't know, an Arcane Giant, and you traded his big old buff ass into a 7/7 or into another 6/6. Now it's an 8/2. Well, you know what? Turning that into a 6/6 is fine. You lose 2 attack, but you heal 4 health. It's probably going to stay alive now, and probably going to value trade again. Whereas before, it would have just died to like any AoE or any simple 2-drop trading into it. It allows you to continue to get value out of already damaged cards. And that's where I think its real value comes in. Now, obviously it's a shitty top deck if you don't have minions out there. But in a board-centric deck, in a deck that is focused on getting on board, snowballing, i.e. Shaman, I think this is a really good card. I think this will be very good in Evolved Shaman. I think this will be pretty darn good in a slightly more board-focused, tempo-oriented Paladin deck, because, again, both of these things are token generators too, right? So you can just make a 1/1, play this, get a 6/6. Okay, it's a 7 mana play to get a 1/1 and a 6/6, but that's not terrible. It's fine, right? Same thing with like if you just change a totem. But it's more important to use this on boards that are already existing. You know, do I think 5 mana is a bit much for this card? Yeah, but on 4 mana, this card would be insane, right? Can you imagine playing a 3/3, trading it into like a 2/3? And then turning it into a 6/6 on turn 4, like, holy shit. You know. So the fact that it's an elemental, I don't know if that matters or not. I don't know if that counts as being played. So I don't know if it triggers elemental synergy. It probably does not. But, I don't know. I like this card. I think it's actually better than people think, and I think people have been sleeping on it. I will give it a 6 out of 10, and it will definitely be in some of my decks. Deck of Wonders. 5 mana mage spell. Shuffle 5 scrolls in your deck. When drawn, cast a random spell. Okay, so good sides. The scrolls also draw you a card, so you don't miss your draw. Aside from that, that's it. I don't know, this card is garbage. It's just total meme card. You're paying 5 mana to do nothing. Nothing. Why? And cast a random spell with random targets. Why? You're a mage. The whole point is you get to target shit. I mean, yeah, okay, I get a free flame strike maybe. Too many cards that are too random that don't do shit. You can't really afford to pay 5 mana and do nothing. It's not a tempo play. So, I think the idea then is to sort of play it in the late game and kind of just hope you get the extra value to win the game. That's fair. But it could just blow up your own board and blow up your own shit, dude. I mean, it could draw you a Pyroblast. Yay! And then Pyroblast you in the face. Aw! It's like a mini Yogg-Saron 5 times. I would assume it's only mage spells, but still, why would you want that? Yoxeron is a, well, I'm losing my ass anyway. Maybe I can come back with Yoxeron. This card doesn't let you do that because it's only drawn one at a time. So the effects are just random. It's like, I don't know. Ugh, bad, terrible, 0 out of 10. 0. Dragon's Fury, 5 mana mage spell. Reveal a spell from your deck. Deal damage equal to its cost to all minions. So it's like a half joust. I think this card is actually pretty good. Now, you pay 5 mana. Let's say you draw the other Dragon's Fury, right? Boom, 5 damage to everything, board, whole wiped. This is another one of those cards that requires you to build a deck with big spells, and use them. I don't know if that's going to be a good deck, because like I said, Mage has so many good cheap spells that maybe this card doesn't see play. Obviously you don't want to reveal, I don't know, a Frostbolt, and then it's effectively a Volcanic Potion, which sucks. But, let's say you reveal a 3-cost spell, like an Arcane Intellect, 5 mana, to deal 3 damage to everything. That's fair. That's already been a card. That's Excavated Evil. And then if you high roll behind that, the card's even better. So I actually think this card is quite good. I really like it, and I feel like I've got a major case of deja vu, because there was some card in the past that was really similar to this. And I don't know why it's triggering, but I think that was a good card, and I think this is a good card. I mean, you're a mage. How often do you really want to build a board anyway? You don't really care about your own minions. You care about destroying your opponent's minions and then just burning them out and shoot them in the face. So obviously this is not fitting in a tempo mage, but any sort of long-range control mage, this is a good card, and this will probably slot in. Maybe even in some sort of Kazakus mage we'll use this. So Kazakus mage is going to be a thing for another 4 months. I think it's a good card. I think it'll fit. I think it'll see play. Thumbs up. 7 out of 10. Skull of Minari, 5 mana Warlock Legendary. At the start of your turn, summon a demon from your hand. I'm not 100% sure I did this or not, so I'm going to do it really fast if I have. This card is giant piles of poop. It's at the start of your turn, so you literally are paying 5 mana to do nothing. So maybe this is a card you want to play in the late game that you can then play with other creatures. And yeah, it's going to get a lot of value, but I feel like with all these weapons coming out, weapon destruction is going to be huge. Your opponent is definitely going to have a chance to destroy it. You're playing on a Warlock, so there's only one reason why you would keep your weapon destruction around, and it's for this motherfucking card. I just don't think it's good. Value-wise, it's going to be awesome. But again, it's a demon from your hand. What if you don't have the demon? What if you don't have any good demons from your hand, right? So it would encourage you to play and only have very large demons in your hand. I guess it's pretty good, even if it summons a small demon, because it's still free value. But it's at the start of your turn, so it's not like that dude has charge. It's still going to sit around. Your opponent is going to have a chance to react to it. It's too passive. It's too slow. I don't like it. Still going to give it a 3, though. It might see play, but I think it will end up being bad. Unidentified Shield, 6 mana warrior card. Gain 5 armor, gain a bonus effect in your hand. Those bonus effects are equip a 5/2 weapon, gain 10 more armor, summon a 5/5, or deal 5 damage. So, basically a Holy Fire for warrior. That's pretty good. And it's armor, so that's arguably better. Arcanite Reaper plus armor. That's pretty good. Shield Maiden, that's pretty good. And gain a shitload of armor. It's not terrible. So, this is weird because a lot of the unidentified cards up until this point had pretty good effect, gain a bonus effect that might or might not be good, but it doesn't really matter because I like the initial effect. Hashtag. So this one's weird because the gaining the 5 armor is really not that special, not really something you would want to put in your deck, and then everything is loaded into the back end. Because you don't know what that back end is, I don't think this card is very good. I think it should actually be 5 mana. Or I think it should give you 8 armor and then do all these effects. Like the fact that it's unidentified and you don't know what it is should actually give you some sort of It should give you some sort of compensation for the fact that you don't know what the fuck is happening behind that. And that, I think, is sort of the problem, at least with this particular card. The other identified cards are fine, because getting a 3-mana 2/2, for instance, with the unidentified Maul, plus a bonus effect, you'd probably just pay that because you want to have an early game weapon. People already play Rallying Blade, and that effectively has no battle cry. You know, yeah, there are ways to utilize it, but it's basically just, hey, I want a weapon on 3. And so in that case, hey, I want a weapon on 3 that does shit too. Okay, that's fine. Here you go. But with this card, it's kind of like, fucking A. Like, it's just a huge just spell, and like everything is backloaded, and like I don't know what I'm gonna get, and like, what if I get a weapon when I don't need a weapon, or what if I get a bunch of armor when I don't need an armor? Like you can't really count on this card. This card is good with Medivh. I mean, but that's about it. Maybe it's good to beat Jousts. It's pretty good with that summoner thing that reveals a spell, and then you get a minion of the same cost. Okay, so there's applications. It combos with other cards. It's a big spell. That has value. I don't know. I'm not sure what kind of warrior plays this. I mean, does Control Warrior play this? Like, what if he gets the weapon? He's not trying to really. I don't know. It's just weird. I think the inconsistency is going to kill the card, but I could see it having applications in play. So 4.5. Valinir, the Paladin legendary weapon, 6 mana, 4/2, Death Rattle. Give a minion in your hand +4/+2. When it dies, re-equip this. So, did anybody else notice that the word value and the name Valinir are very, very similar? Well, there's a reason for that. This is the ultimate value card. So, as long as the minion in your hand does not get silenced after it dies, you get a 4/2 weapon back. Over and over and over again. This reminds me a lot of the hat. The hat from Hunter from League of Explorers, which I loved, because just, hey, look, here's a 1/1. Oh, it's back in my hand. Here's some more 1/1s. Take some 1/1s. Everybody gets 1/1s. In this case, here's a 4/2, and then let me punch you in the face a couple of times first. Like, you want this to die, so like you're literally gonna equip and swing again, put it in your hand, and then play the minion that was in your hand, because now it's a new turn, and you got a new whole set of mana. Right? So this is probably going to die on turn 7. And then on turn 7, you can play your Silver Vanguard card, that 7 mana 3/3 that summons an 8-drop, which is now a fucking 7/5 that summons an 8-drop. So now you play that on the board. Now your opponent's like, what the fuck do I do? Do I kill this, or do I kind of have to kill this, right? And then your Tyrion comes out. And you get Valinir right in your hand again. You swing with it immediately. And then guess what? They kill your Tyrion. Valinir gets destroyed. It buffs another minion. And then you play that minion. I love this card. It's super slow. Don't get me wrong. A 4/2 weapon on 6 is not worthless, but not good. But neat card, man. Just neat card. Another very good Paladin legendary. I love it. I love it. I mean, it's going in a control deck, for sure. It's a slow card. It's going in a control deck. So it's going to get an 8 out of 10 for me, but I think this will make Control Paladin even better. Geosculptor, yep, the Warrior Legendary. Not 100% sure if I did this card or not, so I'm going to do it really fast. 8 mana 4/8 at the end of your turn. Summon a random minion with cost equal to your armor up to 10. So, if you've been stacking armor all day and then play this card, it's awesome. Right? Totally worth it. Play a 8 mana 4/8 and get a 10 drop. Thumbs up. It's like a Yashiraj except in reverse. Right? Usually you play a 10/10 and the Yashiraj summons another big minion. In this case, you're playing the big minion and then getting the Yashiraj. So, neat. Good card. really, really bad anti-synergy with Flurry, or Reckless Flurry, but I don't think the Reckless Flurry deck is the same deck that you put Geosculptor Yip into. I think the Super Duper Armor Up, Control, Dead Man's Hand, out fatigue your opponent warrior is going to love this card, and I think it's going to be a great addition to that deck, and thumbs the fuck up. I like it. I think it's good. Somewhat inflexible, because like I said, you're going to have to play Control Warrior to play this card, so going to give it an 8 out of 10. But very, very powerful within that deck. Dragon Hatcher, 9 mana, 2/4. That's some poopy stats, but at the end of your turn, recruit a dragon. Wow! So, this is not going into your fairy dragon deck. This is going into your super big dragon deck. Yep. A little surprised he's an orc, but hey, orcs are smart now. So 9 mana 2/4 is obviously incredibly poopy stats. That's like a 3-drop, 2-drop stats. 3-drop stats. So effectively you're front loading 6 mana to get a dragon. So any dragon that you draw from this has to be at least 6 mana or higher in order to make this good value. So you're going to be playing this in Big Dragon deck. Whatever it is. Dragon Priest, Dragon Druid, not Dragon Hunter, I don't think that's a thing. I don't know. Some sort of large dragon deck. Maybe Dragon Paladin. It's possible. Maybe that becomes a thing. I don't know. Maybe Dragon Mage might be a thing with Syndragosa. But it's a recruit, so you kind of want Syndragosa's battle cry. I don't know. Ignore me on that last one. Point is, though, you're going to want a big buff dragon. You want to play this and get a Ysera. You want to play this and get, I don't know, some big fucking dragons. That's what you want. You want big fucking dragons. My problem is I can't really think of that many big fucking dragons that I would actually want aside from, say, a Ysera. Like, most of them have battle cries, and you're going to want to utilize the battle cry, and because this recruits them, I don't know. Is there a big dragon that I'm missing that I would want? I guess Kobolds Scalebane's not bad. You get a 5/4 and a 5/5. See what I mean? Like it's hard for me to come up with dragons that are actually like legit worth putting this card in your deck, putting 2 of these in your deck, and then like raring to go with that card, you know? And if you draw that card, I mean, you know, Ysera's a legendary, so what if you drew Ysera and then the whole reason you have this card in your deck is gone? I guess it's to guarantee you have a 9-drop play? I don't know. I just don't think it's very good. I don't think there's enough good dragons to actually make up for the fact that I'm playing a 9-mana 2/4. 3 out of 10. And last but not least, we've got Dragon Caller Alana. It's the Mage Legendary, 9-mana 3/3. Battle Cry, summon a 5/5 dragon for each spell you cast this game that costs 5 or more. Ooh. That's pretty sick. So, Big Mage is not about big creatures, it's about big spells. And this is the thing that is going to make Big Mage a thing. This is why you would play that deck in the first place. Right? So you're going to play Firelens Portals, Flame Strikes, Meteors, Pyroblasts, Kabbalist Tomes, stuff like that, right? And then you play this, and then you just get a huge board of shit, and you're just like, fuck yeah, I got dragons, I'm very happy. And then, thinking ahead, you play one Youthful Brewmaster in your deck, and boop, this motherfucker comes back, and you're like, Hog City, baby. Or you play, in Wild, you could play Duplicate. That's kind of neat. And then you get 2 5/5s back. Or they're really dumb and they kill this first, you get that back. That's kind of cool. Yeah, and it's a battle cry, so it goes off even if it gets potion of polymorphed or something like that. Slow, you betcha. You may not even be able to play this on 9 because you may not have played enough spells to actually make it worth it. So obviously you can't cast a spell that costs 5 or more until you get 5 mana. So if we assume that you casted a 5 mana spell, a 6 mana spell, a 7 mana spell, and an 8 mana spell, then you played Dragon Color Alana on 9, you would get a 3/3 and 4 5/5s, best case scenario. I think that's fair. Problem is though, those spells may not be interconnected. You know, you're not just going to cast a Flame Strike so you can get a 5/5, right? You're going to play Firelend's Portal, like, that works, right? Kill something, get a 5-drop, and later on, this also becomes a 5/5. So Firelend's Portal becomes ridiculous with this card. You got to make the deck. You got to make the deck, and I don't think it's something you're just going to play on curve on 9, right? It's also we also have Frostless Jaina, which needs to come down on 9. So, hard to say. Hard to say. I don't know if Elemental Mage and Big Mage are going to be the same deck. I don't know if Frostless Jaina is going to fit into the Dragon Color Alana deck. The big spell, Big Mage deck. I think Mage could actually use a few more good big spells, right? Because Greater Arcane Missiles is a pile of poop. Meteor's good. Kabbalah's Tome is good. Firelend's Portal, Flame Strike. That's probably enough. Maybe a Pyroblast if you need it. I mean, those are all good. Those are good enough cards. It's just, it's going to have a very top-end heavy deck. So what do you play in the early game, right? You're gonna have to figure out your early game with a deck like this. You need to have a deck that doesn't die to Tempo Rogue and can get to the late game where it plays this card. Too bad they don't have Taunt, because the other drawback is that you would play this and then just die, which would suck. But I do think it's a nice card. I think it's a good card. I think it will see play. Like I said, you're going to have to build the deck around it. So I'm going to give it a 7, but I think it could easily be much stronger than that. And that's it, guys. That's going to end the video. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Keep learning, keep rocking. Rockstar, see you later. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you want to see the newest videos, you can click here. If you want to see a recommended playlist, you can click here. And if you'd like to subscribe, you can click right here. Thank you so much, guys. Keep learning, keep rocking. The Rockstar will see you later.